to make the base of the tile, and then we'll work on building it up next time. So you're going to have your block clay and a board to work on, and then you'll have a PVC pipe roller and a wooden dowel or stick kind of skewer, and then you'll have a paper towel. And then, oh, of course, your tile. Yes? So,
is this really ready?
I'll ask her that. So you start with your square-ish thing of clay. All of them are going to be a little bit different size, so don't worry if yours is smaller or bigger than the other person. They should all be big enough for your tile. There's going to be extra anyway, so you don't have to worry about the size of this. So I usually start by kind of squishing it a little bit, because if it's really tall, then it can be really hard to start rolling and it'll kind of flop over. So I kind of flatten it out just a little bit with my hands. You don't have to go very far. Just kind of like that. And then I'll set it right in the center of my board. And you want it in the center so that as you're rolling, it doesn't go off the board onto the table and get stuck on things, right? So then your next step is going to be grabbing your roller. Next step is going to be grabbing your roller. And when you're doing this, I recommend, if it's hard for you, to stand up so that you have a little bit more leverage on top. Boys, can I have you? So you can be standing on top so it's a little bit easier to roll. And so from the center, you're going to start rolling. And I start in the center, because if you start right on the edge, it'll kind of mush it over and then it'll get really thin, right? Yeah. So you want to make sure you're in the center and you're rolling out that way, so it actually forces it to flatten out evenly. Yeah, it's kind of like Play-Doh. It works a little bit different, but it's similar.
It's actually mud.
Let's have the share. Now stop. Sorry. Are you ready to keep going? Shh. Okay. So see, I turn my board so I can go the other way. And once again, from the center, I'm rolling up. From the center, I'm rolling down. And you just keep working it. You should not need to, well, you don't need to go past the edge of the board sideways. Even though it's thinner this way, you do not need to go any farther. And you're just going to keep working it. And your goal is to go, your goal is to go a little bit, or up to your first pinky knuckle. Okay? So it should be, everyone has a pinky knuckle.
I don't have my pinky knuckle.
Do you have another one?
No.
Okay. So your goal is to get something close to that. You can eyeball it. All right. But you can get about to the height of your pinky knuckle. Yours are a little smaller, so mine doesn't reach all the way up.
Yeah.
So I'm pretty close right now, so I'm going to just make sure it's nice and even. When you get close, we're all paying attention up here, please. Thanks, boys. So when you get close, I'm just kind of evening it out a little bit flatter, because I noticed that one side is a little bit higher than the other. So you just have to use your judgment on that. And then you see if your tile will fit on it. So I rolled it out so it's big enough, as you can see. So you're just going to try to make it so that your tile is big enough. If your clay is not big enough, then you can just roll it a little bit thinner. It will be okay. You should have plenty of clay. It'll be fine. So you want your tile right in the center. Just kind of have you kind of spread out down here so that you're not talking. So you're going to put your tile right in the center so that it's nice where it's even and rolled. And then you're going to take your wooden stick and just very lightly at first.
It's like you're tracing it.
Yes, you're tracing your tile on.
But not that deep.
Yes, you start out very light. Just a light touch.
So you don't really
You see how I'm holding my stick way down here? It's like a pencil, basically.
Yeah.
You want to do that. If you're way up here, it will break sticks. This one's actually a little broken because people were holding it, right? So you want to make sure that you're not way up here, because it won't be very accurate, or it won't stay very clean. Yes, it won't stay very clean, and then it'll also make the sticks warp and then break. So we want to make sure we keep the supplies nice and also have really nice craftsmanship in our work.
And hold it just like it's so.
Yes, so then you'll take your tile off, and you see how I didn't go very deep? Just enough to get it on there. Then your next step is to cut it out fully. So once again, really low on the stick so that it doesn't break and you have nice control. You're going to always pull towards you. That's really important. If you push, you won't get very nice lines, and it'll be really hard. It won't be worth the effort. So you want to start away from you and pull towards you. And I start outside of the clay, personally, to make it a little bit easier. And then once you get close to your line, I'm going to flip it over because this is a little bit. Once you get close to your line, you just want to really carefully, nice and slow, take your time, follow the lines that you traced. And then you want to cut the whole piece off. You don't want to just cut and then have to try to pull all four sides off at the same time, because it's going to be really hard. So you want to pull little pieces off as you go. So you go all the way through your blob clay. Alright, we're just going to put it on the side. And we want to leave this just on the side. We're not going to do anything with it. I'm going to save it so that it can be used for other stuff. Okay, so that's just going to stay there. Then we're going to go back around. I'll show this to you guys once it's done. We'll go all the way around, taking our little chunks off. If you need to turn your board, make it easier, you can always do that.
Turning always.
Remember, always pulling towards you. Never want to push away from yourself. Okay? So we're getting this done. Just keep everything together. Slide your hand up. And our last side, right here.
That looks cool.
Alright. So,
That's what tiles are made of.
I know you're excited. We have voices. So, I just cut out my entire tile. See there? But do you see how there's kind of rough edges? It kind of looks gross. So we want to make sure we get rid of that. So our next one is, once you guys are finished cutting out, and I see that you've gotten it cut out properly, then I'm going to let you guys go and get a paper towel, and just wait till we allow you to, so we don't have a bunch of people running. So when I say you can grab a paper towel off of the thing over there, and you're just going to lay it on top like this. Then you're going to very carefully push down on the top and the sides. This is very gentle touch. You don't want to push hard. I'll show you with this. If I push really hard and kind of do that, then see how it warps it and changes the shape. You know, if you're pushing hard, it's going to do that. So you want to make sure that it's just lightly side to side. You need to do lightly side to side rubbing so that it's nice and smooth. It's just a smoothing motion. And you can curve around a little bit so that it gets both the side and the top. And see how much different the top is from the side. Just as a little bit of smoothing out there. And sometimes they'll be rougher or not, depending on how it got cut. So you just have to make sure that you try to get it as smooth as possible. I'm going to do one more side. I won't do the whole thing so you have time to work today. That's why we're doing this. Alright, we're not touching this. You'll get too soon. So I got two sides done. And then if you get that done and it still has a couple spots, sometimes it'll make like the little boogers or whatever extra pieces can make like little marks on there. So you can just very gently just rub that out without the paper towel on top so you can see where those spots are. Just very gently work that out, and that's fine. But we start with the paper towel on the side so that you don't get as much clay on your fingers, because if you keep working it a lot, it might stick and start building up on your hands and it won't make as nice of a surface. So we start with the paper towel to smooth it out. Alright, then once you've smoothed out, we will write your number on your board and then we'll put it on the shelf over there, and we'll have that happen as you finish. Alright, your number of your tile. Alright, so you won't be writing your number or any drawing on there today. I don't think we'll have time anyways. We're going to do that next time. We're going to keep up watching you guys. Alright, so can I have you guys help me out with the process, and we're going to talk through it really quick. What is the first thing I need to do? What is the first thing I need to do? Yes.
I first have to grab a piece of clay like that and just start going. First, have it how you want, like roll it. Like you first have to have the clay. You know that.
Yes, you get the clay and then you kind of mold it to a little bit flatter. Yes. Next one. What's the next thing I do? Yes. So the next thing you do after you kind of mush your clay a little bit to warm it up, then you put it on your board. Where on the board do I put it? In the middle of my board, and then you would start rolling. Yes, correct? Then what is the next thing once I have it all rolled out and I've checked the pinky depth? What is the next thing I need to do? Right.
You have to start cutting the shape of your face.
Before you cut, what do?
You trace it.
Yes, so you put your tile on there, you trace it lightly first so that you make sure it's right, and then you cut. Yes? And then after you've cut out, what is the next thing, the last thing for today that we're going to be doing?
You write the number. You're gonna write the number on it.
What do we do before we start reading the book?
We're gonna put the towel and smooth it on it.
Yes, so you put your paper towel down. You put the paper towel down, and then you start smoothing out the edges. And then you would ask us, or raise your hand to see if you're done. We're not touching these things. Raise your hand to see if you're done, and then when you are, we'll write your name on, and then or your number on your board. Remember, you're not writing on your tile today. We're gonna write that for you on your board, and then we'll put it away, and then we'll start playing. All right? I'm gonna have the steps written up on the screen for you in case you guys forget. So if you need to remember, you can look up there.
Have we got a focus?
You did get your focus. That's a great job. Oh, I can ask you. How about someone that's nice and quiet? You are doing great right now. You can go. Yeah. And then if everyone else will quietly go walk back to their seats, we can start passing stuff out.
Okay,
Let's walk to
let's walk to
the